Hey guys, what is going on? It's Fen here again. So today I want to talk a little bit about my expectations and the reality of World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria. So I wanted to make this video a lot sooner, but I wanted to kind of test out a lot of things before I made this video so I can give somewhat an accurate video on this subject, which is World of Warcraft dying or not? Now, a lot of people will agree or disagree. It's your opinion, and that is up to you. I want to talk about World of Warcraft because it's just hit the 8th anniversary, the 8th year of World of Warcraft being out, and we've had some really, really good expansions. We've had some not so good expansions, but I think World of Warcraft has had a good run. Now, note that I said had a good run, and that's because in Mists of Pandaria the game is really suffering, and it's because, in my opinion, there's not enough variety in the game. As a game developer, not that I am, but I would assume that it would be very difficult to keep a franchise such as World of Warcraft going for a number of years without some variety. Now, the variety we get is basically expansions, and throughout the expansions we have got things such as dragons, we have got new classes, we've got new races and new specs, and a lot of things have changed, and it's really good. When the cookie cutter specs went out the window and we got what we had in Cataclysm, everyone were like, wow, this is good, this is bad. We had some variety and it changed and it was really good. And then it changed again for Mists of Pandaria and it was good again. We've got a lot more flexibility in terms of how we play World of Warcraft. Instead of you need to be this spec for this, instead you choose your specialization and you get them specific talents or abilities for that specialization, and then you can pick things that you would normally pick, just like when we used to have the 3120 abilities backing Wrath of the Lich King, where you could choose and kind of mix talents around to get what you wanted, and that led to World of Warcraft being really good in my opinion. Now, throughout the expansions, in my opinion, again, the best expansion we had or will have is the Burning Crusade. It was the first expansion that we had, and rightly so, it was the best expansion we had, simply because everything was unique. It was all new. It's all about demons, Illidan, all that kind of stuff, and just the general daily stuff that you would do was really fun. We had a new city to go into. We had Shatra to hang out in, which was really cool. We had a lot of factions to obviously get reputation with, and it was not like what we have now in Mists of Pandaria, where it's just a pure grind. There was a lot of dungeons involved where we had to go in certain dungeons, we had to get keys, we had to get all this kind of stuff to unlock heroics, and it just gave us something to do throughout that process, and I found that was really cool. The raiding was really good as well, and I think that we had some really good PvE content. The drakes, where you could farm the drakes, farm the reputation to get the black drake and stuff like that. I mean, that was amazing amongst itself. The quests that we had to do were generic, MMO quests, but they were quite entertaining. There was a lot of quests where we had to kind of use our brains, and a lot of quests where you couldn't actually solo it. You had to have multiple people to help you in order to progress further. There was a lot of danger just out in the world. Blades Edge Mountains was one of them, where they had these 70 elites roaming around, and of course they were for a quest, but if you got caught by one of them, you could potentially die, and just things like that just made World of Warcraft for me. Now, I've been playing Mists of Pandaria since it came out. I didn't play much in the beta. The reason for that is because I really wanted it to be fresh for me when I started doing videos on it. Because it's beta, things aren't final. And if I spent all my time covering beta content, I would have basically discovered everything before the game even came out. which is good and not good in a way. It's good so you guys can see the content, but I really wanted Mr. Pandaria to work for me, and sadly at the minute it's not working for me. I'm currently character jumping like a mofo. I just cannot find a character that I want to play, that I enjoy. I don't think it's actually the character that I'm having the issue with, because I like all characters. I think the issue lies within the actual content that is supplied by Mr. Pandaria. So I have two 90s, and I pretty much know what's going to happen throughout my leveling process. I'll give you an example. Let me just switch characters. I'll switch to my monk, just because I feel like logging on the monk. And I'll give you a rundown of what will happen from leveling a character from 85 up to 90. As soon as it loads. I've got a lot of add-ons at the minute, so it just takes a little bit longer to load, but that's fine. We like our add-ons. I'm trying something a little bit different. Okay, so I need my map for this. So let's head to Pandaria, and this will be the process for me when I level in Mr. Pandaria. We'll start off in the Jade Forest. We'll do the intro quest. We will basically, I won't even finish all of the quest in here because I will dungeon grind most of it. I try to do all the dungeons at least once for the quest and the items, which is cool. So I won't even finish all the quests in the Jade Forest. I get about 80% done, and then I will move on to Valley of the Four Winds. Now, Valley of the Four Winds and the Karashang Wilds are both the same level, which is really, really stupid, because by the time I'm 86, I can easily get 87 in the Valley of the Four Winds very easily. So why would I want to waste time going into Karashang Wilds? Instead, I find that because I've done Valley of the Four Winds more times, I've never actually quested in Karashang Wilds. I know the quest routes, what I need to do for all these quests, and all that kind of stuff. So my process would be Jade Forest, and then I'd go to Valley of the Four Winds. After that, I would completely skip not Veil of the Eternal Blossoms, Cool Ice Summit. I would completely skip this and go to here, to Talong Steps, because by this time I would be 88. The reason for that is because the quests in here get you very high. So I would get 87 plus the dungeon grinding as well. I don't like to just quest. It's very, very boring. So what I do, if I'm a DPS, I sign up as a DPS and I quest. As soon as the dungeon pops, I go in. As soon as I leave, I join back up and continue questing. This way we get a variety of dungeons and questing, which does help out in leveling. The XP is great in the dungeons, the rewards are good, the XP from the quests in the dungeons are also good, and sometimes you will get really nice people that you can talk to and stuff like that. So it's just a different, environment to play in, which is really cool. So by that time, I will go to Talong Steps, and I will actually get 90 in Talong Steps, if not very close to it. If I don't finish, I will head to the Dread Waste and do the intro quest here, just to unlock the Claxives. And excuse me for the dog outside barking, but let's continue. So once that's done, I'm 90, and the question is, what should we do now? Well, what do you do when you hit 90 in Mists of Pandaria? Well, the things you can do, you've got several options. You have grind the PvE content, get the gear, and basically continue from there and go into the PvE route. If not, you can try and go into the PvP route, where is you basically grind gear, and once you've grinded the gear, you try and get the Malevolent gear, which requires you to do arenas, rated battlegrounds, all that kind of stuff. Or you could do just normal battlegrounds, but it does take a very long time because you only get 100 a day plus 50 for every win after that. You only get the 100 if you win as well, so it can be very difficult. You've really got to have things in place that will help you at 90. So they're the two options that you can really go for. Now, what's the problem with these? Well, once you hit to 90, you've got two options, PvE or PvP. You make your decision and you follow that road. For PvP, it's a very straight road. It's like you get to 90, you buy the PvP gear off the auction house, so you get it crafted or whatever, and then you will do battlegrounds, and that's all you'll do. You'll farm battlegrounds every single day until you have enough honor to actually get the pieces, and then of course the conquest points to actually get the epic gear, and you need a certain rating for the weapons, etc. So you might be doing some arenas, or you're just going to grind that gear out normally in battlegrounds. So it's going to take a very long time. It'll take you perhaps months to do this, and it can be very boring. Now I know a lot of people who want to farm honor will use a bot, and I think using a bot obviously is against the terms and conditions, but it's also very boring because what's the point of playing if you're going to get a bot to do it? And the reason people do get bots is because it's just that boring. Battlegrounds, even with the new battlegrounds that they have added, there's just no variety in them. We've got the same battlegrounds. Let's have a look at the battlegrounds actually. So we've got a lot of battlegrounds from what we had back in vanilla, TBC, etc. We've got a lot of cool ones. The ones that I would say are very boring are the ones like I was going to say the Winter Springs, but it's not. Alterac Valley, which would be, I think it's not Twin Peaks. No, Twin Peaks is one of the ones I like. It's a very nice map. I think it's not Battle of the Galley. That's another good one. I think I can't remember what it's called. It's not the Isle of Conquest, Strand of the Ancients. I think that might be it. No, it's Isle of Conquest. There we go. So the Isle of Conquest is kind of like Alterac Valley, where it lasts quite a long time. I think them type of scenarios are very boring because it doesn't interact people. It's a straight goal. It's as soon as you run out the gate, you go and get the harbour so you can actually get all the wagons and stuff, so you can fly over the wall. Then you use the bombs to blow down the gate. If you want, you can go to the middle, get the siege engine, which would obviously do it faster, and of course you're able to kill people quite easily with that. So it's just a straight thing. It doesn't change at all. Something really cool that they could add is a rotating battleground where you have the same map, but every time you enter, it's something different. Maybe it's capture the flag. Maybe it's like an Arathi Basin. Is it Arathi Basin? Yeah, I think it's Arathi Basin. A spin-off of that where you have to capture the flags, hold them, but if you want, you could actually take the flag that you've captured there and move it up to another base you've already captured to, let's say, double your points. Something interesting like that, where there's a lot of different options you can use in the battleground, rather than just being a generic static an event where you go in, you've got to capture points and you've got to hold them. Why not, mix it up a little bit, capture points, and maybe just use that point to combine 2 points together. Something like that could be quite interesting. I'm not too fond of the new stuff that we got. The Silver Shard Mines it's a good one, but it just feels a little bit. I think they could have done something a little bit better. It just feels a very static. But I think I could nitpick at anything that Blizzard have done to World of Warcraft and say this could be improved, which it could. But that's the problem. Once they implement something into the game, it's there and it doesn't change. It needs to have some variety in it. It has to change at some point to basically get people thinking again. Because I guarantee anybody who goes into a battleground will know exactly what to do in every single battleground, and they will have thought of tactics to basically overcome some obstacles. For example, Warsong Gulch, we all know rocket boots and gliding off of the top of the buildings is always a good way to get from point A to point B. It's always good. We also know that basically camping people at the graveyard, if you're capable of doing it, is also a very good way of actually farming HKs and obviously winning. So there's a lot of methods that you can use in order to, combat this. But I mean, the point is, really what I'm trying to make is that at the minute, World of Warcraft is just very bland. I don't really feel interested in playing at the minute. I'm thinking of taking a break, but I'm not sure because, I still do like the game. I really enjoy playing to some extent. I log on and I just feel like it's good, but it's not something that's going to keep my interest much longer. I've tried to join a PVE guild. I thought maybe testing out PvE content might be a thing for me, but I think in the long run, I do more damage than help myself. The reason for that is because when you join a guild, you basically join to help the guild and help yourself. Now, if I'm still feeling the way I'm feeling in a few weeks, and end up leaving the guild, I'm gonna basically cause more harm to that guild than help it, because let's say I join as a tank, I now become the main tank, so I have an obligation to stay and actually be active for the guild because they've made the decision to make me the main tank. Or if you're a healer, the healers are very important because you really do need healers. Because most people do have an off-spec. Majority of the time it's DPS or, it could be a tank. But healers do kind of lack somewhat in guilds. So I think in the long run, I don't think it's going to work out for me joining a guild. So I kind of dismissed that idea. So I'm back to square one where I'm just character hopping from different characters. And I don't want to level up another character because the same thing is going to happen. I'm going to get to 90 and then it's just like, yeah, what do I do now? Okay, I'll go level another character. And I think that's the cycle that I'm beginning to understand that I'm going through every single time I log on a character. I go to level it and then I get to 90 and it's like, ooh, well, yeah, this is fun. And even with the PvP, I just find PvP boring now. And I don't think it's just anything specific in the game. I think it's just the game in general. It's World of Warcraft. I've been playing it 8 years. And I think it might be time to find a different game in order to just, progress in what I enjoy. Because clearly I'm not enjoying World of Warcraft that much anymore. It might be reflected in the videos, or it might just reflected in this video right here. But I'm sure you guys can understand that. So if you have any suggestions for any other games, then, feel free to leave a suggestion. And of course, leave your feedback on this topic. What do you think of World of Warcraft? What do you think could happen in the game for it to be just fresh and new again? I know we've just had an expansion out, but once the dust has settled, we're past the honeymoon period, it's same old World of Warcraft, innit? It's let's chill out in Stormwind. I doubt many people are actually in the new area in Mists of Pandaria. I think it's the Seven Suns or something. Yeah, I don't know. TVC, that's what you want to call home. That's some good stuff. And then they did it all right with Wrath of Lich King when Dalaran came out. That was the new home, new hub for everybody. And then, of course, Cataclysm, back to Stormwind. And Mr. Pandaria was still in Stormwind. So, I don't know. But yeah, your opinion on this would be fantastic, to be honest, guys. I'd really like to know how other people are feeling in terms of the game. And yeah, I know this was a long video. I hope you watched it all. And if not, then that's cool. I'm basically just ranting at the minute. So I'm going to head off, guys. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. Peace.